are back. Welcome to Pivot with Purpose. You guys are coming back for a second week, but we're actually picking up right where we left off. I still have our therapist, Mr. Mac, in here.
Hello. I'm still here.
Paola's still here. She hasn't run away from me yet.
Not yet.
Don't leave me yet. Oh my God.
Not yet.
I'm not ready. I'm not emotionally stable yet. This one's going to get deep. So I told you last week that I wanted to talk about more of, what it looks like once you have identified that you're dealing with someone who's a narcissist. What does that look like? What are some of the grieving processes that you're going to, because I think it's going to be an entire roller coaster. So before we get into that with Mac, we're going to, shout out another listener that has left a review on Apple Podcast. So this is H. Brams. You left an episode that says, Carla, you are such a necessary light. As the new mom of twins that has been struggling with some postpartum depression, your last 2 episodes, along with your older ones, have helped me tremendously with therapy. Keep it up, Carla. We need your voice.
Oh, that's amazing.
It made me cry when I first read it, but now I cry about a lot of stuff.
That's amazing.
But it's amazing the fact that, you have twins, you're dealing with something that's so common, which is postpartum depression. Yeah. And you taking the time to listen to me. 1, I'm honored. Thank you. And 2, I have found that this is my calling. This is my purpose. And I was able to build a business around my purpose. So I can do what I love on the microphone, yet I can amplify so many other people's voices on a daily basis, getting millions of people to listen to them because this is where I am. So you validate that for me. So thank you for leaving that comment. So we'll go straight into the episode, and it is brought to you by BetterHelp. So I do want to let you know that if you cannot afford Mac or not in the New York area for any reason, as I said last time, he's trying to do something for y'all couples, but if you can't, BetterHelp. BetterHelp, it will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. Haha. You can start communicating in under 24 hours. There are some therapists that sometimes can't take you for weeks, right? Because they don't have the time. So if you need to start right now and you identified, I need this, you'll get someone within 24 hours. It's not a crisis line. It is not a self-help line. It is professional counseling done securely online. It is much more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. That's something that I really want you to understand, because sometimes insurance companies, they don't take, fuck, we're gonna have to cut this out. Hold on.
We're going too fast.
I know. And once you said it, I realized it.
Slow down.
One thing that I do want you to notice is that, or realize that sometimes your insurance maybe doesn't have people that you can go see. Yeah. So the fact that BetterHelp has financial aid, it definitely helps you. Still, you have to spend some money, but you would have spent this money going out to drink or maybe to dinner or buying stuff on Amazon that you really don't need. So make sure to go to betterhelp.com/PWP. There's a special offer for Pivot with Purpose listeners. So again, that's 10% off when you go to betterhelp.com/PWP, and all the links are going to be in the description of the episode. Okay, so picking up where we left off.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Sure?
I'm not.
I got napkins, and I took another gummy. So we are on drugs now. Let's see what happens.
This false sense of bravado.
Yes, I am tough now. Okay. All right, so narcissism. What are some of the ways that a narcissist moves on?
Ooh. Nice question.
Oh,
man.
Thank you.
This is what I love doing certain podcasts, like when people are prepared and we can have an above average conversation.
Ooh, above
that
average.
Makes it interesting.
Go ahead.
Right?
Introduction.
It's not 1 + 1 = 2. Like, we're actually having a healthy, necessary dialogue. We're providing the medicine.
And again, that's what I do while I produce podcasts. CarlaRamirez.com.
Talk
Go
your
ahead.
shit.
Go ahead. Let me know if you're ready for me to produce yours, but it's gonna cost you.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So usually when a narcissist leave, they already have someone ready for them. Because they would not leave their narcissistic supply and then have no one to feed them. Their ego would take too big of a hit.
No narcissist can be alone?
No. Their outer world is created, right? Their outer world, their social world. So they need people around them to feed them because they can't do it through their inner world. So a lot of times what we have seen is that a narcissist will start having an affair and preparing and recruiting others so that when they leave, they have somewhere else to go. So it's very common that a narcissist will just disappear and then pop out with a brand new person. Or after a breakup, 2 days or 3 days later, they're in a whole new relationship.
How fast can that happen? Because can they meet someone within weeks?
It's premeditated. I am realizing that you're becoming aware of who I am and that you're not giving me much, or I've just taken enough from you that I don't need nothing else. So I'm going to start preparing someone else. So I can have my narcissistic supply to continue.
So then that's when you like text messages, conversations, like little conversations, or
when they
disappearing for the weekend because they needed to treat somebody else on a weekend getaway before they left you.
No.
There you go. and sometimes that's being done just to get you back to how things were. Because I'm always desirable. I'm always wanted as a narcissist, right? Do you know how many women I could pull? Do you know how many men want me? You're lucky to be with me. It's your honor to have me as your man or as your woman.
Yeah.
So if I feel like it's becoming difficult or you're challenging me too much, I'm going to remind you how much of a big deal I am and how wanted I am to tell you so you can realize how thankful you should be.
So maybe they will cheat or do certain things just to make you be their supply again?
Correct. Because not only they infiltrate your life, they also infiltrate your social circles. And due to the rise of social media, they're all over your social media, right? So a lot of times I can't come out and say the relationship did not work out.
Right. Yeah, no, at all. Now, as partners or children or siblings of a narcissist, I feel, and I heard a word on a YouTube video, and it was enabling a narcissist. Ooh. How people enable them. And she said, enabling a narcissist is just like enabling a drug addict.
100%.
What does that look like when we enable a narcissist?
When you just give in to their demands. When you do exactly what they need you to do.
And they want you to do.
Yeah. Like the validation is the drug. You're giving it to them.
But what about if you know the chaos and the darkness that will happen if you do not supply them?
Exactly.
So what do you do then?
It's a double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword.
You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
100%. If you don't give it to me, I'm going to oppress you and make you feel bad or guilt you or say a lot of things to you to make you feel bad about yourself or about the relationship. I'm going to gaslight you. Were you going to think that it's your fault that I'm doing this to you? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is your fault that I'm treating you this way. It is your fault that I'm yelling, that I'm cursing, and that I'm physically assaulting you. You did this, not me.
With that being said, that you enable them, can you say that sometimes you can want to crave that nice person that you see and you give in, whether it's staying, whether it's having a weekend with them, whether it's canceling on all your friends just to be with them because they give you a little bit of that good time and then they've isolated you from everything else and you crave those little good times.
Because they've made you learn that your source of happiness is tied to their happiness. So if you make me happy, I'll make you happy. If you do everything that I say and give me whatever I need, I might give you a good weekend, buy you a bag, or love bomb you all over again for a short time frame.
Thank
and
you
then
for bringing
we're back
that up.
to that same cycle.
Let's talk about love bombing.
Ooh.
So maybe we can take this to the beginning. So I didn't know what the fuck love bombing was. I didn't know, and I will. What the fuck is love bombing? Just you tell me.
Oh, okay. What is love bombing? It's bombing. It's basically an avalanche of attention, validation, words of affirmation, or whatever your love language is on a consistent and overwhelming degree.
Consistent.
Yes. It's like, so usually when you're dating someone, when you realize that you're over investing, like, hey, I'm trying to see you more than you want to see me. I'm telling you a lot of things more than you tell me. You take a step back because you notice that this person is not investing as much as I am. A narcissist don't see that. They just keep going harder. And they do that to distract you with shiny things. So you don't get to see who I really am. You get to see all of the things that I'm doing for you, therefore invoking feelings within you at a fast rate.
How long can a love bombing phase last?
Until they get you.
So it's, in a weird way, it's like while you're falling in love, they're learning everything they need from you.
Yeah.
And you're the one falling in love. You're an ends to their mean.
Yes. They'll tell you I love you with it as quickly as possible. And you're not even there yet. But you base, oh my God, he's saying that he loves me, or she, and I'm getting all of these presents. We're going on all of these trips. They're here every day. They're cooking for me. They're taking care of me. Maybe I love them too. And then you convince yourself that you do. You love what they're presenting, but you're not loving them because you don't really know them.
Showing up very consistently.
One way to test whether or not you're going through love bombing is ask for them to slow down. Hey, it's been 2 weeks. I'm seeing you every day. I just feel like it's a little bit too much. I need a little space. I'm thinking that we should see each other maybe twice a week as opposed to 7 days a week. Do they respect that?
Yeah, right.
Or do they get triggered? Or do they're not even pay attention to that and continue to implement themselves in your life consistently?
Yeah, and I think that's something that I will do differently this time, because I spent so much time in the beginning. It was so consistent.
It was magical.
Magical.
It was
like
a movie.
Disney World, baby.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But I never took the time to step back because I had the time. At this point, I am an entrepreneur. My schedule is hella free. I do what I want, when I want, how I want. So I'm very available.
Yeah.
And I can make myself available to someone very easily.
Yeah.
But I asked how long it can last, and when you say until they get you, that can be, it can be years of.
But they don't take that long to get you.
No.
Right? They start saying, I love you. You're amazing.
Within the first month.
Yeah. I want to spend as much time with you as possible.
And they do it.
And it feels great because they're very charismatic. Right? They provide you comfort. They weaponize empathy. They provide that safety. So you feel that it's okay to fall for them. But in reality, you don't know a person up until after 3 years. And what you see with narcissists, they move quick and exit quick. So before you really get to know them, they're either out or you're too deep in.
June is 3 years.
A relationship requires deep friendship.
Yes.
But it takes at least 3 years to develop that. When you're first dating, everything feels great. Their touch turns you on. You seeing them gets you going. Their lips feel like heaven. You love to cuddle and etc. And your brain's also playing tricks on you because you have glasses on. You have blinders on. You're not really seeing them for who they really are. You're seeing their social self, their best presenting self. And your brain is releasing chemicals, dopamine, oxytocin. Those are all chemicals that promote bonding. That's why the love bombing works. I'm throwing all these things at you and your brain is playing tricks on you. We're bonding very quickly and you're not even aware of that. I've had narcissists propose as the woman is breaking up with them. Oh, you've been wanting a ring. I'm sorry for everything that has gone wrong. I want to show you how much I love you and how much I'm dedicated to you. Look at this big ass ring that's going to make all your friends jealous. So you can forget all of the bullshit that I put you through in the past 3 months.
But so my thing is, it's like, what's the end for them? Because if you're committing to the lie, for example, if you get proposed to, if you're committing to the lie, because it's a lie.
It's a lie for who?
It's a lie for him or for the narcissist, because they're not going to go through. But that's what I'm saying. What's their end game?
So they don't know it's a lie?
No.
But what's the end game? Is it to destroy you till they can't use you and then leave you?
Personally and professionally speaking, I don't think it's premeditated. It's like, I see you. You can provide something that I'm in need of, right? You're probably very beautiful. Being next to you increases my worth, right? Having you in my bed boost my ego. Everybody else wants you, but I get to have you. Or you have more finances than me. Or you have better positions than me. And you could put me in play with others. So I'm going to go and get you. And it's within that relationship where they start showing their true self, which is detrimental to the relationship. That's usually why couples therapy don't work.
So couples therapy will never work for someone with a narcissist.
No, because in couples therapy, you need to be able to empathize. You need able to take accountability. You know what, babe? I'm sorry. I realized what I did. I can understand how you're really feeling. But a narcissist will tell you, I did nothing wrong. It was all you. And if the therapist challenges us, it's going to be like, how dare you say there's something wrong with my relationship? No, you don't know what you're doing. A narcissist will hijack a session. They just keep telling you stories. They keep over talking that you don't really get to nothing. And what I've been seeing a lot lately is whenever you have couples therapy, they have an impromptu date for you. Let's go to the opera. Let's go for a walk in Central Park. I made reservation. Out of the 7 days, you're going to choose the time frame that you have therapy to have a date.
Oh, gosh.
Do you see how they're sabotaging all of that?
So are they capable, and I know she asked you this before, but are they capable of love? Or are they just capable of the idea of love?
Let's define love. Love is the ability to
care for someone, empathize with someone, put them before you at certain times.
I think you just answered your own question. Because you just listed all of the things that a narcissist can do.
And I think that's where, and I told you before, I think that's where like I feel sad now. Like I haven't felt sad in a really long time. I don't want to cry. I haven't felt sad in a really long time because like that was the only relationship I had. Mm-hmm. So if you say, you know what, they can't love you, it was like this whole time, like my daughter, our whole time that we were together. What was it? Like, what was the point of it?
You were just...
For you to meet me.
Yeah. You were just a conquest. You
and
provided me with what I needed. And it's
Carla
very
knows.
unfair.
Carla knows, like, I've been over it for a really long time, but it's like, now it's like, I don't know why it bothers me.
Because it hurts. And I don't know why I didn't hit you when I was telling you certain things. Because I've been struggling with any of... Okay, so I'll get into it just now. When you are, as a woman, leaving a situation where, again, I was in therapy. We were in therapy for 2 years when we first got together and everything was perfect. Through it all until the end.
That's already a red flag to me, to being in couples therapy for 2 years. That's way too long.
No, it was couples, but also individual. It was mostly individual.
Copy. Okay.
Yeah. We did the couples, but then we were like, we have traumas of our own that we need to deal with. So there was a lot of, I would say 70-30.
Got it.
So 70 individual. Mm-hmm. So I spent all of that. My biggest thing was that I consider myself a pretty intelligent woman. I feel like I can gauge people pretty well. I feel like I've been in pretty shitty relationships for all along. So I thought that I had done the work to find, I crossed all my T's, dotted all of my I's, did everything by the fucking book, and it still didn't work. And when I realized what was happening, the sense of shame that came over me. Yeah. And I think that has been for me. Why did you cry? Now you're gonna make me cry. This is splash zone. I screamed from the mountaintops how in love I was. Yeah. I was so in love. Blindly. This person was perfectly imperfect for me. To the point that I wanted to have a child. I wanted the family. I wanted to be submissive. Yeah. I wanted to finally, for the first time in my life, long life, be a wife. And cook and clean and have another fucking baby when my little girl is about to graduate high school in a month. Aww. So when she says now, was it real or was it not?
That hurts.
It's so painful to me. I'm like, what did I do all of this time? Like what? But one thing a friend, and I'll ask you if this does make sense or if it's something she should have said to me, I took comfort in it, but she said it was real to you.
Yeah.
So she just kept telling me to just feel. I'm so glad I took that gummy. Y'all ain't gonna see me cry. I felt like I needed to just accept it was real to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfect to me.
Yeah.
I was in it 100% and I gave it all. So for whoever's out there listening, feeling like I can relate in so many of these aspects and is questioning whether it was all just not real, whether they did not love you, I think they love, they just don't know how to, they have a sense of love in a way. They care for you. But they're incapable of something.
Exactly.
So I can't hold anger within me for both people in my life, because I have realized and come to terms with both that they are unable to do these things that I need.
Yes.
So I just have to
Accept
move on.
Yes.
Accept and move on.
And if you think about it, they're also a victim.
Yes.
Right? They were conditioned to be like that. They were raised like that. Their home life or their environment has led to this end, to who they are now. They didn't choose to be, hey, I'm going to choose to be a narcissist.
No.
That's just what happened.
And I think that's also what, the word's not attract, what makes you want to stay there when you don't have the language for it and you don't know what you're going through. You're like, man, these people, this person has been through a lot. When I think of the first person in my life that I now think that they are, man, the trauma, the things that they've been through, that they cannot express love, that they just cannot show it. And it took me so many years for me to be like, I just have to meet them where they are. And I gotta stop
That's your
expecting.
breakthrough right there. You gotta make the link between the two, right? It's that it felt like home.
It's really hard to say, I have to limit you. It's really hard to say, I want this relationship with you, and you're never gonna have it.
Yeah.
It'll never be like when you look at someone else and say, oh, they're getting that love, they get that validation, and they get that empathy.
You wanted
I'm
it
never
so
gonna
bad.
get it.
You wanted it so bad that you weren't paying attention to the disguise. And the disguise was done so well because they've already know what you're in need of. They're a chameleon.
But
they're able to provide you with whatever that you need to feel loved.
Imagine that coming from a family member as well. You know, these are now people that you can't separate yourselves from.
Yeah.
That you have to, it would be so easy, or not so easy, but much easier if you're in a relationship or maybe like with a boss or just a friend that you can cut off and never look back. Mm-hmm. But when these people are ingrained in your life and they're there forever and you just cannot get rid of them, finding that healthy medium and boundary is real. It took years to do.
Yeah.
Like years.
But one of the things that we need to also realize and accept is that we are attracted to what feels familiar to us. So a lot of times, like, you will hear people say, no, the vibes were great. Or we just had this connection. You didn't. It was familiar. It felt like home to you. You felt comfortable around that energy and that person because it's familiar to you. So part of your healing will have to do is to start making the unfamiliar familiar to you.
Right.
Right?
That's where I am.
Yeah. And that's going to be tough.
It's so hard.
Because that's going against your conditioning on how you were raised and what you're used to. It's going out there and actually finding those that are capable of loving and show empathy and show emotions and show vulnerability and make that attractive to you.
But that's the bitch, because we are dealing with people that know how to flip a switch and basically become a chameleon to what it looks like healthy. Mm-hmm. And then it takes for us to be deep in to realize, oh, I just got fucking bamboozled. You know? So it's like, you can't escape it. But I also feel like in our communities, we're used to thriving in chaos. There's always so much chaos that we're conditioned to. You know, I don't care where you come from. If you're a person of color in this country, at the end of the day, we have been conditioned with chaos. There's always something going on. There's always some type of trauma where there's this is the crackhead, and there's the drugs, and there's the guns, and there's the gangs, and there's the abuse in the home that no one ever talked about. There's the physical and mental abuse from our grandparents. We talked about the last episode how my grandpa would go and cheat and then come back home, and my grandma would just take it and just go talk to the lady, or, you know, some women get beat, or families have they molest throughout the whole family and no one can talk about it. You know, it's just not talked about, or someone is not, the whole family believes that this is your, you know, the daddy of this kid, and then you find out at their deathbed that it's not the daddy. You know, and it's like, who was it? There's just, in our communities, we don't talk about it. So it's really hard for us to not realize we thrive in chaos. So when something or somebody like this comes about,
it feels like home.
I was home.
You're in your comfort zone. And part of protecting Black women and Black men is ensuring that we're going to therapy as early as possible to do the work and undo all of this collective trauma that we have experienced. So from now on, I never want to hear this idea, what do you bring to the table? I want to hear, what skills have you learned and how are you coping with your trauma that you've overcome in therapy? That's the question that we need to start asking. Not what do you bring to the table? Well, I got this, I got that, I've accomplished this. We don't care about that, because that don't make you a good partner.
No.
Are you able to own your shit, overcome your shit, and learn how to cope with it? Do you understand what your triggers are, and can you self-soothe yourself when those triggers are activated?
We talked in the last episode too, like women crave peace. Like peace. It's not and we said it before, like at this point in time, we don't care how much money you make. We don't care what job you do. We don't care what type of family your upbringing comes. If you are a good person, if you give me peace, respect me, take care of me, I take care of you, like everything else can get figured out.
Yeah.
Because having $1 million is not going to make you a good husband.
But you forgot one thing. Lately, it appears that women are seeking marriage. They want a ring. I'm hearing this concept, well, he should know whether or not he wants to marry you after 3 months. Or it's been 2 years and you guys are not dating yet. Or these programs being created on how to find your husband in 6 months. Ladies and gentlemen, it takes years to know a person. Those married between the years of 1 to 3 have the highest rate of divorce. So technically speaking, you shouldn't be marrying someone until 4 years in. So please, let's stop that nonsense.
Slow down.
Assess.
Yeah, I remember I said in an episode out loud, there's a clip out there where I said, if you don't know, if you want to marry me within 18 months, I want to be with you. But what I meant by that was, you should know if you want to spend the rest of your life with me by 18 months. You can propose, but then we wait. You know, and then it doesn't mean you don't propose and then get married right away. I feel like a proposal should be more of like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Let's keep working on it. But the legal paperwork of signing a paper, it's like, give me a second. Now we're gonna like, it's just another step further in the commitment, and let's keep going. So I do like the 4-year thing, but I feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong, by 18 months, I should know if you are the person I want to consider spending the rest of my life with.
Yes. Consider yes, right? Can I see myself with you long term? By 18 months, you should have an idea. Yes. However, by 18 months, should you make that commitment officially?
Of actually getting married?
Yeah.
No.
I would say no. Engagement used to last 3 to 5 years. Nowadays, 3 months, 6 months, a year, we're getting married. Slow down. If this is your person, it doesn't matter if you marry them in year 1 or year 5.
Well, that depends if you want to be a virgin and you want to just get down busy with it.
That's another one.
That's a whole different.
I think those that are the most unhappy in relationships are actually church folks.
I told you we're gonna have a church episode. There's a lot there.
It's a lot to unpack.
So I'll say this. So I've said it to people before. Like I don't strive for marriage. I don't need to be married. At this point, I think that long of a commitment scares me, because I did commit to somebody for 5 years. That was a long time. And now that I've been out of it, I'm like, I can't. And I tell Carl all the time, like, it's like I have a very short attention span. If you show a trait, I'm done. Because I've been there. I'm not gonna go through it. I'm not gonna deal with it. So it's like I need to figure out, is it me being scared and just discounting you?
Yes.
Or is it you being someone who scares me because you said I love you 4 minutes in, and I'm like, oh, stop, wait, you don't know me.
So there's this significant difference that we need to acknowledge. There are those that is seeking a love story. There are those that are seeking a life partner. You can seek a life partner and still experience a love story. But if you're only seeking a love story, more than likely you're not going to have a life partner. A love story is Hollywood. We met, amazing sex, everything was great. We got married or whatever the case may be, but it's short-filled, right? It doesn't last long. A life partner is, I'm choosing to do life with you.
Like actual life.
Yes, I'm accepting you for who you are, not just your potential. I'm learning who you are. We're investing into each other. We're choosing each other. And that alone is going to create a love story. But that's going to last.
It's like Will and Jada.
Don't get me started.
They're a bad example right now. Let's move on.
They're accepting each other. He accepts all the bullshit. Okay, no, we won't go there. But there was something that you said earlier. Crap, what was it? No, I forgot. See, Will and Jada threw me all the way off. What does it look like? Two relationships. A parent. What are the boundaries you put with a parent that could be a narcissist? And how do you put a boundary or a healthy boundary with a co-parent?
Ooh. So if a parent is a narcissist and you're the child, more than likely you don't have enough power to put in a boundary. Because you're learning, hey, I get attention when I achieve this.
Well, as an adult.
So once you recognize that your parent is actually a narcissist, first thing you need to do is go straight to therapy. Because there's a lot of undoing that you need to do. There's a lot of discovery that needs to happen. So you can make those boundaries and actually stick by them. Because technically speaking, you're still providing that parent with that narcissistic supply. So it's by doing the work that you're going to learn that and actually be able to put in that boundary. Now with a co-parent, I say go the legal route as quickly as possible. Let's agree on what support is going to look like, on what visitation and co-parenting is going to look like. So this way there is no room for influencing. There is no room for continued dialogue, for contempt, which is the highest predictor of divorce. Right? So there's no room for any of those things, especially if they're not doing the work.
Okay. And the co-parent, how do you parent a child when the narcissist leaves?
Ooh.
Like, what do you do?
A lot of love and acceptance and affection. Not that they have to earn it, have it readily available. Because when they are with that narcissistic parent, the love has to be earned. Right? Now, when they are with you, you need to double whatever you were going to provide just to offset what was being done. And that child should also be in some type of therapy, expressive arts, so they can start expressing themselves and these type of things. Right.
So, but now is it a double-edged sword where they're not getting, the love and validation, where they have to earn it over there, and then now you're giving them too much over here? So are we now just like fucking them up both ways? Like too much love here?
I don't think there's such thing as too much love. I would say for a child, especially. But what's interesting is that the narcissistic parent can start to weaponize. Oh, I'm not seeing you because your mom left. Your mom don't want me to have access to you. And start turning the child against you.
So how do you combat that?
Conversation, hopefully.
Open dialogue.
Open dialogue with your child, reminding them that you do love them and etc. There's really no rules with narcissists. It's how can I get my narcissistic supply? How can I make you suffer for leaving me? How can I turn everybody against you so you can appear crazy and gaslight you?
Okay.
It's tough.
It is tough. And that sucks. Are there any instances where you've seen that a co-parenting relationship has been just chilled when one person is a narcissist?
I'm going to my memory bank. I can't say, but I hope so. for the sake of the child.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Which is why I'm saying if things are agreed upon and it's documented, it's a lot easier. Less conversation is taking place because we know exactly what's being done, right? So when you leave a narcissist, they tend to come back and enter the hovering stage.
Oh, I heard of that. Hovering, one of them.
Correct. So they hover over you. Hey, I miss you. Let's talk. Let's work this out. I want my family back. All of these things to try to win you back in. Simply for the same behaviors to continue not so long after. You might have a magical other 2 months. The love bombing part 2 will happen.
Wow. When we talked about earlier the narcissists moving on, I want to touch on that because I think we as the other person, because there are men that experience narcissistic women, in relationships as well.
Yes.
And they sound the exact same way that we do, just as heartbroken, just as lost. When you find out that person is in literally a brand new I love you relationship within days of you leaving, the pain that brings, because it comes out of nowhere. And you're like, am I seeing this right? Is this really happening? And I want everyone to know I'm finding healing, and I no longer have that anger or that pain because I can understand what's going on. So without the understanding of really diving deep within this narcissism stuff, I would never know or be able to deal with or separate the feeling, I should say. Separate the feeling of pain and hurt and betrayal versus that's just who they are. And I can truly know that there's nothing there, and that maybe they might seem happy and even post that they're happier, or maybe show to the world that they're happier. And this is the right one. And it might look that way for some time, but I truly understand. And by seeing the people's patterns, it's not.
Yes.
And once you understand that pain, it just becomes more of disappointment.
Yes. And what you should do is send my condolences letter to whoever that woman is, because they're about to go through the same thing that you just went through. Literally. You guys are going to have so much in common now.
Fuck that shit.
It's
ridiculous.
And
I've told you that. I feel bad for the person that they're with now, because it's like, I don't hate you. I'm not jealous of you. It's just like, I don't want you to go through what I went through.
Yeah.
Because not to sound like a martyr or nothing, but it was bad. And I had to deal with the bad. And I know how bad it can get. And for me to see somebody else going through it, I'm just like, I can't imagine you doing that to somebody else. Someone who's a mother, someone who has children. You've inserted this person into your life. You're going to, God forbid, what's going to come of your children. They're going to see this. So I'm just like, I don't, and I've said it before, would I tell her, hey, you're doing this, you're dealing with this?
They won't. And I've said that plenty of times. I said, if anyone had ever come to me and said this to me my first year and a half, I would have been like, okay, hater.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm not going, please get away from me. There's no way. Yeah. This is different. Sorry you couldn't do it, girl. You mad. I get it. You big mad. It would have been all of that. But I truly, again, will say I was happy for 2 years. I was happy. I was in love and everything was perfect until it wasn't. And it was only because of therapy that I've been able to speak on it as fast as I have, to have moved on with my life and to be where I am today, because I was doing the work already and that person was able to tell me, because y'all therapists don't be saying shit really. You just be saying whatever I say right back to me. And it's like, oh, that shit sounds smart. Ooh, and then I'm like, oh, it was me. It's like, I'm saying things and I realize that she's repeating it to me and I'm like, wow, she didn't tell me what to do. I kind of told myself what to do.
Exactly. We don't tell people what to do. But question for you, what was the first sign? What was that? Some smell fishy here.
I wonder if it's the same thing. Go ahead.
Was it?
I have no idea. I don't think I've sat down to think about it.
When did you start experiencing the narcissistic rage? I don't want to trigger you. It's on
How many months in?
Comfortable sharing.
How many months in?
Because it was months.
Allow me
For
to
me?
allow me to rephrase the question.
I don't remember.
When did this individual attempt to regulate what you can and couldn't do?
Oh, immediately.
Or try to showcase their superiority over you?
Immediately.
Or try to parent you to some degree?
Immediately. But I didn't see it as that.
Of course not.
Yeah, I just didn't see it as that. It was grooming.
Yeah.
It was mental grooming. But again, and I have to say this because it makes me uncomfortable the way that we speak about narcissists because it's in such negative light. These people care, love, protect many people around them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just those closest to them. So it's not that they go out into the world and they're like AK-47s out just punching people in the face and like breaking their heart. It's not that. It's a very
complex.
It's very much behind closed doors. And I don't think the people want to be that way. I don't think they necessarily walk around like, fucked another one up. I don't think it's that. I don't think, even for parents, it's like, got that bitch. I don't think that's what it is. Because it just paints in such a negative light. But all I care about is about someone that might be going through what I went through and who is possibly about to go through it again. And they're just wearing those rose-colored glasses thinking I'm different. And it's just like, this is not a matter of, can you overlove?
Yeah.
Overloving is going to do absolutely nothing until they're ready.
That's amazing advice right there.
Yeah. Can we take a break? Okay, I had to pee like a racehorse. And I'm outing him.
You have a voice.
You're not Erica. You
have a platform.
Yeah, he did. He does, and that's what kills him because he's always wanted to pretend like his was bigger. Mine has always been bigger.
I always tell you that. Always be safe.
Oh shoot, I don't have the Bible verse for this one. What was it? I feel like you sent it.
147.
Matthew, no. We can just wrap up the episode. I'll add it up later. I'll add it in later. I only had another one.
I'm about to go back to therapy after this one.
Okay, I know this one. I'll do the Proverbs. Okay, we're back. We're going to go ahead and skip over to our Bible verse. We're running long on time. We've been talking. So if you have, a paper or you want to write it in your notes, it's Proverbs 9:8. It says, "Do not correct those who make fun of wisdom, or they will hate you. But correct the wise, and they will love you." And I love this one. It's Proverbs 9:8 because it just shows you communication. We've been talking about when you communicate with someone, how should that be, taken in? How should someone, react to what you're telling them? So if you are trying to correct someone that is wise, if you're doing it with good intent, that person will love you for it. It's like, wow, you're here to help me. You're here to help me do better. But when you go to the beginning, like, don't correct those who make fun of wisdom. So those that think that the right things or doing the right thing is stupid, those that think that it's ridiculous, that they downplay it, they're like, nah, that doesn't apply to me. The things that that are great, and they make fun of that. When you try to correct them to view the right way, they will hate you. So within the word, God is already telling us to watch how those people perceive and take in the way you communicate with them and how they react to what you tell them, especially when you tell them with love. There's times that we might not be coming from a place of love, and that's different. It's like if you're just mad or you're trying to get them whatever, no. But if you truly are coming from a place of love and you try to correct someone, watch how they react. And they should accept it, embrace it, and change it if it's for the better. So that is Proverbs 9:8. Again, Mac, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, man. I had a blast.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I love doing this, although I'm emotionally exhausted. I took drugs. So I was good to go. I know myself. This would have been like...
not promoting drugs, by the way.
It's hemp, CBD, guys.
There you go.
But I like to call it makes me feel edgy. Like I'm cool. Come on now. I'm doing drugs, man.
I'm a therapist. What do you expect me to say? We need healthy coping mechanisms.
You're right. So make sure you follow Mac where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me on IG as Talk to Mac _therapist. Talk 2 Mac MAC _therapist. And if you're a couple in New York City and Jersey and you want to work with me, specifically Black couples, you can find me as therapiesforeveryone.org. And I look forward to your growth and your healing process.
Thank you. Do you do virtual?
Yes, I do. I only do virtual.
Oh, only virtual?
I'm staying home. I have a home office with a couch, with a big screen TV, a massage chair. I ain't going nowhere. A wine bar.
When I become a couple, we're going to come talk.
So people still have to be from Jersey or New York?
Yes, but I do have coaching programs to anyone that's available in the world. Basically.
Okay, so they can still get some type of help from you.
Correct.
It might not be licensed therapy.
Yes,
but it's still a licensed therapist coaching you. So
I'm just saying.
Just saying, wherever you are, hit them up. It doesn't matter where in the world. Paula, let us know where we can find you.
If you need any help with organizing in Central Florida, or if you want to get me flued out like Carla did, you can follow me on my business page, The Family Planner. And if you're one of Carla's friends that wants to be my friend, you can go to my personal page at Just Fails.
She's telling you the whole tea, just pales. Don't forget to go to whoswax.com, get your gummies, use the code PIVOT. And just remember, none of this that we've said today is here to implement anyone. If anything of my voice helps someone else, then I want it to do so. And I have done so from day one with Shit I'm 30 being extremely vulnerable. And I know that when I'm talking about everybody else, it's kind of like, well, she's talking about so and so. When you sometimes put a face to a name, it's like it's more impactful. But know that I'm doing all of this out of my own mental health, my own growth, my own journey, my own story, my own testimony, and to help those women that are watching me on a weekly basis and listening and holding on to every word that I have, because I might have a platform that you don't have or an outlet that you don't have, so I can bring that to you. So I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Bye.